Sowol slowly walked towards him. Who are you and why are you like this? The woman replied sullenly, because I refused those who wanted to force me to be a spy, so they captured me and locked me up here. Sowol was startled. Oh my god. It turns out that you were harmed by evil people. Wait a moment and I will release you immediately. The woman smiled extremely fiercely at the end of her head. Is it really like that? She then raised her head and showed an extremely adorable expression. Thank you, sir. If you save me, I will do whatever I can to repay you. Sowol sat down and picked up the chain tied to her body and exclaimed, not expecting to tie up a lady that they would use chains filled with aura like this. Why did they do that? The girl shows a pitiful and innocent look. I don't know anymore. Every minute and every second I just want to quickly leave this place. Sowol asked again, do you know where this is? The woman shook her head. I don't know. I was dragged here and tied up by them. Sowol's mouth slightly curled up. The magical beast forest is a dangerous place full of strange and ancient magical beasts. I heard that ghosts' beasts fascinate people and turn them into their bodies. The woman is skeptical. What does the young master mean? I'm so tired, please let me out quickly. Sowol took something out of his storage bag. I wonder if you know the type of grass called Kilan Thou? It is a type of grass that emits a scent that monsters hate. This is the essence condensed from the scent of that grass. The woman saw the jade bottle in Sowol's hand and her face immediately turned pale. Looking very tense, Sowol slowly opened the lid of the jade vase. Actually, I've never witnessed it directly before, so I'm a little curious. Is it true that magical beasts that smell the orchid will avoid it? The woman smelled the scent of the orchid grass and her face immediately changed. Her eyes widened and she gritted her teeth extremely fiercely. She quickly showed her true form as a monster, quickly disappear. This crazy person. Sowol didn't leave, but just sat there with dirty jars, talking back and forth in front of the monster. No matter how much the monster begged, he had no intention of letting it go. After a while, he slowly took out the profound sword from his storage bag. The monster screamed in fear, wait, that human, as long as you let me go, I will absolutely not harm you. On the contrary, do whatever you want. Sowol asked coldly, is anything okay? The excited monster quickly replied, yes, I will do whatever I have. Yes. Besides, I've been tied to these chains for more than 200 years, so it seems like I can't move, I can't hurt you. Sowol stroked his chin and stared at it thoughtfully. Okay, let's put it that way. Let's talk about the exchange now. The demon's face was full of doubts. Say what you want. Sowol quickly asked straight to the point. Do you know the whereabouts of the ancient dragon? If there is a real ancient dragon there, I will save you. The demon awakens. I understand that you are looking for an ancient dragon, but with your strength, there is no way to confront the dragon. Ancient, what is your real purpose? Sowol frowned. I know I'm no match for the ancient dragon, but telling its location wouldn't be difficult for you, right? Yukai nodded. Of course. I've been here for so many years, how could I not know? Sowol rejoices. Tell me quickly, the demon angrily shouted, do you think I'm stupid? What if you find me and don't come back here to save me? Sowol sighed, everyone is the same, you can lie to me, or kill me after I release you. The demon shook his head vigorously, then stop it, until if you untie me, I won't say a word about the ancient dragon's location. Sowol also didn't hesitate to immediately stand up and leave, so you just stay here, I don't want to risk it either. You probably have to stay here for another 200 years, just wait slowly, wait until some stupid human comes in here. Oh yeah, after I leave the outside we'll also cover the entrance to the cave as before. The monster screamed excitedly, wait a minute, damn, why are humans so difficult? Sowol stopped and looked at it. Then tell me the location of the ancient dragon's cave. After confirming what you said is true, I will come back here to cut your chains, the demon said harshly. That is really unfair. Sowol's voice was cold. Is the situation here unfair? The monster had no way to refute even though he was very angry, but he could only snort back. After a while he shouted loudly again, I don't know what you're planning to do, but it's better that you don't go into the ancient dragon's cave. If you act like a fool and die, how can you save me? Sowol calmly replied, I have my own plans for that. The monster hummed back, what an arrogant brat, Even a low-level magical beast like me is very difficult. A powerful magician like me before. I can still be defeated by the ancient dragon in a ridiculous way, so you have to be careful and don't be disrespectful. Anyway, what's your name? Woon Sowol didn't reveal his real name but instead used the name of the dead Jo Jagong. So what kind of monster are you? The demon smiled. I am a 9 beautiful demon fox, just like countless others of the same kind. If there is revenge, there will be revenge. You better not think about tricking me even a little bit. Jo Jagong, if you cut my chain, I will repay you with all my heart, but if you deceive me, you will not be able to live in peace for the rest of your life. Remember this carefully. Woon Sowol clasped his hands seriously. I will remember. The fox demon nodded. Okay, then I will tell you the location of the ancient dragon. After talking with the fox demon, Woon Sowol immediately left with his sword, not expecting that he could encountered a demon beast here. Luckily, this 9 beautiful demon fox was imprisoned by an iron chain, otherwise I would have been trapped there. I have to increase my vigilance against demon beasts in the future. Even though after all, this place is also a magical beast forest. Switching scene to somewhere inside the magical beast forest. A middle-aged man is standing in front of an altar frantically praying. Lord Dragon God. People of Chaog village, we often come here to thank the Dragon God for his kindness. You treat us like your children, taking care of us so that we can live safely in this place. For such a great kindness, we do not know how to express our gratitude to you enough. To thank the Dragon God for his great favor, we have brought 3 pure young girls to serve you. In the future, please continue to take care of and protect us. God prayed, but he immediately glanced at the 3 women behind him and ordered, from now on, you must not leave the altar until the Dragon God clearly descends. The 3 of them replied in unison, yes, village chief. The middle-aged man glanced at the purple-haired girl. Especially Wall Young would have to take care of the other children. Wall Young nodded, yes, I will do that. The village chief once again coldly reminded, if you make the Dragon God unhappy, then the whole village will also suffer his wrath. You must wholeheartedly serve the Dragon God, remember. Woon Sowol hid on the mountain top in the distance, observing and cursing silently. That's really too much, yet they forced living people to sacrifice. But the Dragon God they sacrificed must have been an ancient dragon, right? Looks like I found the right place. In reality, there are no dragon gods at all. What they worship is 90% of the ancient dragons. Looking at the people's sacrifice scene below, it seems like it will appear here. Thinking for a moment, he took out the flag and arranged it on the cliff. Then he stood up and looked down. I need some more information. He let the little pig hide in the formation. And he himself jumped down. The 3 women who were brought to be sacrificed were all asleep at this time. Woon Sowol used extremely fast speed to land next to the purple-haired woman. Without saying much, he immediately picked her up and hugged her. The woman's eyes widened and she looked at him in surprise. The Dragon God is so handsome, it's really different from what I've heard. Woon Sowol quickly took her with him into the hidden Ghost Valley. Seeing Woon Sowol so gentle made the woman even more suspicious. He treated her very gently. He was beautiful. It's okay for a guy like this. After thinking about it for a moment, she turned to Woon Sowol and asked, are you a dragon god? Woon Sowol shook his head. My lady is not the dragon god you are talking about. Excited woman, what do you mean? If you are not a dragon god, then who are you? Woon Sowol clasped his hands together and explained, I'm just a healer who happened to pass by here. I had something to ask you, so I was rude to you. The lady is angry. Is it disrespectful to still do that? Woon Sowol calmly explained, after watching the scene of your altar ceremony, I wanted to confirm a few things so I did so. After talking, I will take the lady back to her original place. I wonder if you can answer a few of my questions, miss? The woman looked at the little pig next to Woon Sowol and her heart immediately tensed up. That was a mid-level demon beast. This person was definitely not an ordinary magician. The formation here is also very skilled. I can't rush to oppose him. After thinking carefully for a moment, she spoke up, okay, what are you curious about? Woon Sowol immediately gets straight to the point. Is the dragon god you are talking about the Ju Tai Dao dragon? The woman's face was full of doubt. What is that 9 Dao dragon? Un Sowol explains that it is a magical beast whose body is covered with a layer of snake-like scales, and has 2 horns on its head that look like a dragon, red chest, blue back, blue neck. It's white so it can be easily recognized. The woman shook her head. I don't know anymore. I've never seen a dragon god in real life. Un Sowol is even more suspicious. If you say that, it's a shameful see. You are not lacking, so why do you have to bring alive women like young ladies to sacrifice to the dragon god that you have never met? The woman replied, the village chief has met the dragon god before. Thanks to the dragon god protecting our Chaog village, other magical beasts do not dare to come and harm the people here, so we had to do it. Anything to please him. Un Sowol sighed. No matter what, sacrificing people from the same village is unacceptable. The woman shook her head in protest. No, if possible, sacrificing some people to save many people is not wrong. This is the fate of the weak. After talking with the woman for a while, Un Sowol immediately brought her back to the altar. Thanks to her, I has obtained quite a lot of information, received live sacrifices, protected the village and once sent out a live sacrifice 5 years ago, which means that the ancient dragon is still alive. According to the elders, the master said that the teleportation formation was at the place where the ancient dragon died. If so, then isn't this the place that the master talked about? At present, nothing can be certain until it is directly confirmed. I have to accumulate strength first. According to what that woman said, if I don't become stronger, I won't be able to do anything. Un Sowol then returned to the hidden ghost valley. During the training session, the sky soon dawned. You were still deep in practice at this time. Since I reached level 11 of the Thien Tai period, I have felt like a heroic mandarin. Compared to the Thien Tai period, the eunuch gate is similar to the eunuch gate. It feels much larger and more solid. The master said that if you want to break through the Trak An Quan gate, it depends not only on the amount of spiritual energy used but also on its properties. What does it mean in the end? At this moment, he suddenly woke up again. Someone was coming. In the cave opposite the altar, a man quickly came out. The group of women on the altar saw someone. When people came out, they all sat up. The ancient dragon returned to his position and smiled. Very good. Not long ago I refined a medicinal pill made from uncle's internal medicine, so for the next year I will have to focus my luck on absorbing the power of it, so during that time you just need to focus on making demon poison. Next he glanced at the woman next to him. What is your name, new woman? The woman calmly replied, please call the villain Dan Wall Young. The ancient dragon nodded. Okay Dan Wall Young. Later you should go and refine the demon poison with that kid. I don't know then learn. You should learn how to make poisoned pepper to prove its effectiveness. Wall Young nodded. Yes, please remember, young man. Un Sowol knelt down and silently breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. I have a year of more time than expected. If I don't take advantage of this time, I won't have any more chances in the future. I must find a way out. Un Sowol then he returned to the medicinal herb warehouse. He looked at the pile of medicinal weapons inside his capsule and breathed out. It seemed like he didn't touch anything inside his capsule. It's true that monsters of the same caliber as ancient dragons don't care about these trivial things. Without enough strength, nothing is easy. Seeing Un Sowol sitting there gloomily, Wall Young came over asked. Un Sowol sir, are you planning to get out of here? Un Sowol heard her question and suddenly widened his eyes in surprise. Wall Young went to the medicine cabinet next to her to look for medicinal herbs. Big sister So Eum was the one who supervised you before, I having followed you since you were in Chaog village. Sister So Eum told me that you cut up the ingredients in the medicinal herb warehouse, to make something other than poison pepper. Un Sowol explained, I just want to resist the fate that others have arranged for me. If Miss Dan learns alchemy and can make her own demon poison without me, I will become useless, little girl. Do you still not understand how the ancient dragon treats useless humans? Seeing that all of the ancient dragon's subordinates are female, it's clear that he let me live because he wanted me to teach her alchemy. Wall Young is skeptical, but even if you can escape from this place, if you don't take the antidote, you will die within 15 days. Un Sowol went to the medicine cabinet behind him, the pile of ingredients that I have been cutting up all this time. I have used them to refine medicinal pills that can support the later stages of the natural state, helping me break through the Tra An Quan gate. At the same time, I have also created medicine. The solution can completely neutralize the poison that the ancient dragon gave me to drink." Wall Young looked at the medicine in Woon Sowol's hand and was surprised. "Is it true what the young man said? Did you really create the antidote?" A moment later, outside the medicinal warehouse, a few girls were outside keeping watch. So Eam suddenly came from afar. She quickly entered the medicinal warehouse. As soon as she entered, someone came from behind. "I also have a strange talent, right?" So Eam turned her head in surprise to look at the person behind her with the same face. It was Princess Woon Sowol. The other person smiled, seeing his own image right in front of him like this, yet she didn't show any signs of confusion, which was really surprising. After saying that, he quickly turned away. "Back to my appearance. Someone was secretly looking for me, so I had to borrow the lady's appearance." So Eam nodded. "I heard Wall Young tell me. I heard that you created an antidote." "It's all right," Woon Sowol sighed. "Anyway, I'm not sure the ancient dragon will detoxify me. What's the point of just sitting still and waiting to die? I also have a question, why didn't you tell me? Let the ancient dragon know that I cut down the ingredients." The sad woman bowed her head in contemplation, then slowly explained. "At the only entrance to this cave, there is a very powerful formation. Strong, it has been passed down through generations of ancient dragons. Its name is the image of the Great Vanguard Formation." Woon Sowol doubts, "Young lady, if you tell me that, will it be possible?" Before you finished speaking, you were attacked. So Eam interrupted, "The reason is not important, but whether you can get out of here or not is important." Woon Sowol stroked his chin and nodded. "Okay, I won't ask any more. Then do you know how to overcome that formation?" So Eam explains that only 8 of the ancient dragon's trusted female subordinates know the path leading to the formation. Each of them is a skilled warrior directly trained by the ancient dragon himself. Although I'm not sure if they will betray the ancient dragon to help you. But young Master Woon Sowol has already found a way to detoxify the ancient dragon, so I think there will be someone among them who can negotiate. Okay. I've already spoken to them, so they're ready to meet Mr. Woon Sowol at any time. Woon Sowol clasped his hands and nodded sincerely. "Thank you, young lady. I will definitely repay this kindness." So Eam shook her head. "There is no need to repay the favor, but if you are lucky enough to escape successfully, I hope you will help Wall Young not fall into the same situation as me." The next day one of my 8 trusted the ancient dragon has come to meet Woon Sowol. As soon as he approached So Eam, he introduced himself. "This is the monk named Woon Sowol that I mentioned before. Woon Sowol, this young master is Lim So Chung. Among the 8 confidants of the ancient dragon. She was interested in the stories I told you before, so she came here to see you." Before she could finish speaking, Lim So Chung interrupted. "Okay, you have mastered the medicine. You've cured Mr. Gyo Woon's poison, right?" Woon Sowol nodded. "Yes, that poison is called poisonous corncard. Fortunately I know how to make an antidote so I can practice it." Lim So Chung frowned. "How can I believe it? What you say is true. Why should I believe you? And something must be done in exchange for the antidote. What if there is some mistake that puts all of our lives at risk?" Woon Sowol loudly explained. "I have extensive knowledge of poison, enough to improve the method of making demon poison, and because I have grasped the nature of poison, creating an antidote it's also very easy for me." Lim So Chung nodded. "Well, let's put it that way. It's true that Mr. Gyo Woon was very satisfied with the fact that you were able to eliminate demon poison, and it was faster than time. There are a lot of plans, but even so, you can't guarantee that your antidote will completely remove the poison, right?" Woon Sowol laughed coldly. "Then I would also like to ask a question. Everyone including Lim Sr. Are you sure that Gyo Woon will win against Oh Chuk in that life and death battle? In case Gyo Woon is defeated, all of you will not be given the antidote and will all die." Lim So Chung burst out laughing. "Haha, well said. That's right, our lives are already you've been threatened, but you're still carefree. So you're the only one who understands the situation. That's good. Then tell me what you want to do. Don't you want to ask me for help? Did you escape that cave?" Woon Sowol shook his head. "Of course not. If you let me go while Gyo Woon is away, then my senior and other female subordinates will be punished by Gyo Woon. What I want to accomplish. Quite the opposite." Lim So Chung's face was full of doubt. "On the contrary." Woon Sowol laughed coldly. "That's right. Senior said that I can't leave this place alive. I want it was my senior who killed me. Switching scenes to another side where the ancient dragon was in seclusion. At this time the formation outside suddenly appeared countless cracks. In front of the puzzled eyes of the watchful women outside, inside there was immediately a terrifying spiritual energy emitted. The door of the room was quickly crushed. Woon slowly walked out from inside. He was excited to feel the power flowing from the inside. Flowed down my body. I didn't expect the effect to be this strong. It was such a wonderful source of spiritual energy. I seemed to be able to chew off Chuk's head and swallow him instantly. Excited and excited. After a while, he calmed down and asked his subordinates, "Okay, did anything happen during the time I was secluded cultivating?" The woman behind hesitated, "Sir." After a while Woon went to Lim So-chung. After hearing the news of Woon Sowol's death from her mouth, he inexplicably blurted out, "The name of the person who made the poison pepper is dead, isn't that right?" "Why is that? You didn't give him the antidote?" Lim So-chung sighed, "It's a shame to have to tell you this. Dan Wal-young, who took on the responsibility of supervising him and learning alchemy at the same time, her ability has improved very quickly, so he was afraid that he would become useless, so he voluntarily escaped from the cave. So he was caught in the image of the Great Wind Formation and lost his life." Woon suddenly woke up, "Is that so? So how's the job we assigned to this guy?" Lim So-chung explained that before he ran away, he had worked very seriously. He had refined 10 jars of poison pepper. He had also taught Dan Wal-young how to make it properly, so now Wal-young can already refine the demon poison alone. Woon asked again, "When did he die?" Lim So-chung replied, "The villain discovered his body yesterday." Woon turned around and left. "Okay, anyway I plan to kill him after the retreat, since he found his own way to die, I won't have to waste a bit of effort. Take that dirty corpse and throw it out as food for the monsters." Lim So-chung nodded, "Yes, little man, please follow my master's orders." Woon Sowol's body was then taken out of the cave and thrown into the forest. Very quickly, a wolf sniffed the scent and slowly approached. It looked at the delicious prey in front of it and poured water involuntarily. Okay, but it flowed out. He was about to rush into eating when suddenly Woon Sowol's hand moved again. When the wolf saw him suddenly awake, he immediately turned around and ran away in fear. Woon Sowol secretly breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. Fortunately he did not discover the magic of the turtle, and finally escaped from the hellish cave. That's terrible. I want to celebrate my escape, but there's not much time left. In half a month Woon and Chuk will fight to the death. I have to quickly find the cave where Chuk is located. That's where he is. After thinking about everything, he quickly bowed his sword and left. After a while he flew to a forest between two volcanoes. He quickly landed below. Right at the foot of the volcano there is a cave. Woon Sowol looked at the cave and silently assessed, it looks similar to what his predecessor described. Surely this is Hyeon's residence that Chuk took over. Then there will also be an image of a vanguard formation ahead. After pondering for a moment, he slowly moved forward. Soon he entered the range of the formation. The formation was activated, countless fire tornadoes immediately appeared in front of him. Woon Sowol did not retreat but still stood there proudly observing. After observing for a moment, he sighed, it was stronger than he thought. I must pass through the door of life located between these tornadoes. Even if you know how to break the formation, you are unlikely to be able to overcome the gate of life of the vanguard formation, which is the gap between the gate of death and the gate of death. He seized the opportunity between the death doors to reveal a gap, and immediately rushed forward at extremely fast speed. After a while, he finally successfully crossed the great formation and reached the other side. On the other side, he turned his head to look at the formation behind him and exclaimed, he had escaped once but wanting to escape again would be very difficult. Thanks to Hyeon's internal medicine, Woon's spiritual power was much stronger. Victory is already 9 parts in his hands. Before Woon kills Chuk and comes here, I must find the great teleportation formation. Woon Sowol then quickly searched everywhere the nooks and crannies inside the cave. He searched non-stop but still couldn't find anything, which made Woon Sowol extremely uncomfortable. He punched the ground hard and thought sullenly, I've checked everywhere. I've been in this cave for 2 days now. But I still haven't found anything that looks like a teleportation array. Could it be that the teleportation array isn't located in this cave? If not, then it's very possible that the alchemist that the great master met was lying. I tried my best to live and die to get here, but I really couldn't teleport the great formation. He angrily picked up a rock and threw it forward, cursing. The rock flew straight forward and fell into the lava lake in front of him. At this moment, Woon Sowol was startled again, filled with doubt. He slowly approached. Near the lava lake, he thought to himself, looking at the temperature and dispersion, it was clearly molten lava, but the sound of falling felt strange. Thinking for a moment, he grabbed something. Tie the rope on. And dropped it to the bottom. In his mind he silently pondered, it didn't feel like lava, on the contrary it was like the sound of falling into a lake. I tried dropping it deep but still couldn't reach the bottom. It's really strange, not only did the dagger not melt, it was also stained with water. This lava is different from its appearance, is it just an ordinary lake? Woon Sowol held the dagger in contemplation. Thinking for a moment, he decided to put his hand down to try. As soon as his arm reached below, he suddenly woke up. As expected, the appearance was similar. Lava is a lake, so why use this trick to cover other people's eyes? Is there a secret underneath? There was no other way but to go directly to check. Woon Sowol then quickly dived into the lake. After a while he finally reached the bottom, in the middle. There really is something in the lake. Woon Sowol silently nodded, trying to hide it to this extent, it is indeed hiding something. He quickly swam closer to the thing. He looked at the 8 trigrams. The formation in front of him was filled with joy. The master had said it right. The teleportation formation was really here. He immediately took out a few spirit stones from his pocket. The master had said that in order to teleport, one needed a spirit. Jelly, starting this battle, where will it take me? How far you want to teleport depends on the amount of spirit stones you spend. Currently, I have 80 low-grade spirit stones and 30 intermediate-grade spirit stones. If I add too much, that amount of spirit stones will be considered wasted. But an excess is still better than a shortage. To get out of the magical beast forest, this should be enough. As soon as the spirit stone is placed on the formation, all the spiritual energy inside is immediately sucked out. Woon Sowol saw this and couldn't help but exclaim in his heart. He had already absorbed all the spiritual energy in the intermediate spirit stone. Where was the connection? Consuming spirit stones like this is too fast. I've already collected all the remaining spirit stones. He raised his hand and placed it on the formation. There was no other way, even if he had to use spiritual energy. I have to start the teleportation array. After a moment, Woon Sowol's face wrinkled. Damn, the spiritual energy was drained so quickly. Soon all the spiritual energy in his body was gone. Was sucked clean by the formation. He could no longer hold his breath. His body quickly lost consciousness. He just lay unconscious on top of the formation. The ring he was wearing around his neck often fell off and touched the formation. From inside, a stream of spiritual energy quickly spread out into the formation. Adding the ring's spiritual energy indicated the amount of spiritual energy needed to start the final formation was enough. Woon Sowol lying above was quickly covered by aura and teleported away. Scene changed to the ceremony district in Jeonnam country. Woon Sowol at this time lying unconscious in a certain household. He slowly woke up from a dream. Looking at the surrounding scenery, his heart was immediately filled with doubts, filled with stars. Where is this? Apparently I had passed out on the street after leaving the teleportation formation. Only then did he sense his body's state. The gate of the royal eunuch was actually closed. The teleportation formation was closed. Has sucked all my spiritual energy. Even my potential has been sucked away by it. Now my cultivation level has decreased to only level 5 alchemy stage. Great Master once said that cultivating because this kind of deterioration can happen from time to time, but the knowledge and experience of breaking through the gate will still be the same. You can definitely quickly regain your original cultivation level, so this matter is not too necessary. I'm worried, but I can't remember why I'm here. While Woon Sowol was thinking, an old man appeared outside. When he saw that he had woken up, he smiled excitedly. So you're awake? Woon Sowol's face was full of doubt. What are you talking about? The old man didn't understand what he was saying and wondered, what country's language is this? This is the first time I've heard it. Are you from another country? Even though I have heard other languages before, but now you say I don't understand anything. Woon Sowol secretly analyzed in his heart. It's not the language of the southern country where the masters lived, so that means did I teleport to another country? Thinking for a moment, the old man stood up and ran out. You wait there, I'll go call the interpreter working in the main house. That person will probably understand what you're saying. Woon Sowol doesn't understand you. What the hell am I saying? But I still smile excitedly, because you're alive and out of the magical beast forest. That alone is enough to celebrate. Time flies by, in the blink of an eye. You having been with the old man for 5 months, they were now able to communicate with each other normally. One day the old man came from outside and asked, Woon Sowol, have you made arrangements yet? Woon Sowol smiled and nodded. Yes, Jang Bo big brother, young Dae just came and told me to leave and just left too. The two of them quickly went out into the street together. Jang Bo complimented him as he walked. He was also amazing. Otherwise how could he speak Jeonnyeong fluently after only 3 months? Woon Sowol politely replied. It's thanks to Big Brother and young Dae who have always helped me both physically and mentally. But where does the old master have the humanity to take so many people with him? Jang Bo sighed. Oh my god, brother. Hey, you're slow at catching up on news. You don't know where to go yet you still pack your things and go with you. I'm sure you also know that the master of the district command has been unwell for a long time, right? So the young master is also Miss Ju Garyong. She is planning to go to the new market in Wen Shu Mountain to buy herbs to nourish the old master's health. Woon Sowol was surprised. There are also for sale at the market its medicinal herbs. So why don't you go to the nearby market to buy it for convenience? Jang Bo leaned into his ear and whispered, Wen Shu Mountain we're going to. I told you not to be surprised. I heard that the market is run by you. Did the gods open it or something? Woon Sowol was surprised. You just said it was opened by the gods. The group of people then went all the way to Wen Shu Mountain. A certain sunny afternoon the woman in the carriage opened the curtain and asked, How long will it take no one to arrive? The middle-aged man riding a horse outside replied, Young master, we'll be there in 2 more days. The woman sighed, Can I really meet the gods when I go there? I've come a long way. I don't want to be disappointed. The middle-aged man smiled, but he didn't know. This market mainly gathers cultivating gods and goddesses. Because it's quite low, so it's possible that there are ordinary people pretending to buy and sell for profit. Even though they were just visiting and didn't buy anything, the villain has already been there twice. They'll probably sell herbs there too. The medicine can cure the old master's illness. 2 days later, the group arrived at the fairy market on Wen Shu Mountain. The woman took the lead to go inside to visit, followed by Jang Bo and the group. After walking for a while, she turned to Jang Bo holding the money behind him and asked, Jang Bo, are you still holding it? Jang Bo confidently replied, Of course, it is more precious than a villain's life. How can a villain ignore it? Woon Sowol looked at the 2 people wandering around looking at the goods and secretly sighed. Almost all of them were spiritual herbs and Jang brother was an ordinary person. How could he know? After observing for a moment, Jang Bo then asked the woman, What should I do, young master? The woman's face was tense. She couldn't return empty-handed like this. Her father's condition was getting worse day by day. Thinking for a moment, she went to the counter in front of her and asked the old man, Are you a god? First, so let me ask, what is this? What effect does it have? Seeing that, Jang Bo immediately leaned into Woon Sowol's ear and softly spoke. He didn't expect that the person who used to call him arrogant and bossy like the little master would directly ask to buy it. It seemed like she needed it very urgently. Would those gods have it? Do you agree to the transaction? The old salesman crossed his arms and looked at the group of people smiling. Judging by your demeanor, it seemed like you were mortals. The woman asked doubtfully, What do you mean by mortals? The old man explained that people who live in the mundane world are not like fairies. People like you who cannot set foot on the immortal path can all be called mortals. The woman frowned. Mortals cannot enter the immortal path. Is there a problem if I want to make a transaction? The old man burst out laughing. Haha, it's rare to have customers today, so I'll answer your question regardless of the trouble. Even if it's a market opened by a fairy, it's still a market. What kind of place is the market? Isn't it a place to trade and sell what we want? Just tell me what you're looking for, lady? The woman asked excitedly. I'm looking for spiritual herbs to cure my father's illness. The old man pointed to the ginseng tree next to him. If so, please take a look at this branch of bitter ginseng, although it won't be effective in enhancing spiritual energy, but has outstanding effectiveness in nourishing the body. Women can't stop being excited, really? So prisoners like me can even eat it. The old man raised a finger. The herbs of mortals cannot be compared to this, haha. But I like your filial piety. I will just take a lowest level spirit stone. The woman's face was full of doubts. What is that lowest level spirit stone? Woon Sowol in the distance silently lamented. After all, this price is a good deal. The old man said again, if there is no problem, then let's deal with the little girl. The woman turned her head back and called out, Jang Bo, quickly bring the cup here. She asked Jang Bo to open the box, which contained countless gold, silver and jewels. How about this much gold bar for the gods to replace the lowest level spirit stone? Oh no, if you agree to the transaction, I can pay much more in gold and gems than this. The old man frowned. I told you it was a lowest level spirit stone. What I need is spirit stones, not gold and silver, do you understand? Isn't a transaction an exchange of what two parties want? Maybe you won't be able to buy anything here. Even if you're not a fairy, taking useless, lowly things like this to exchange with the other person isn't ignoring the rules. Isn't this the basic transaction rules? After the woman heard what he said, her face immediately darkened with sadness. Jang Bo from behind saw this and went over to comfort him, but for a moment he couldn't. I didn't know what to say. The group of people then had to helplessly lead each other out. The woman sat gloomily in a corner of the carriage and cried. In the end she couldn't bring anything back. I have been trying hard for days and nights to get here, but… Jang Bo and Woon Sowol walked outside and sighed. It seemed like the young master was very disappointed, who had been trying to plead with the fairies at the market all along. 3 to 4 days, but still can't buy any herbs. Woon Sowol thought to himself, thanks to that, I can earn a little from selling magic tools at the market. But they are the first people in this Jeonnyeong country helped me a lot. Should I take this opportunity to repay their kindness? Jang Bo sighed again. His master's illness is getting worse day by day. Plus, there probably won't be any unexpected events, right? Woon Sowol smiled. You're not like the great Jang hero who knows, the old master has accumulated a lot of blessings, he will definitely be healthy that day. Just walk normally. Jang Bo nodded. Yes, it will be like that. Our master is a noble person. Woon Sowol nodded and replied, it will definitely be like that. Very soon it was already dark. The group of people did not stop but continued on their way. In the nearby forest, there was a group of people waiting in ambush. Is that the carriage? Yes, we have been following them for several days. If we attack in the market, we will probably be attacked by other healers. Just in case, we took them to a place where there are no healers, so we can quickly destroy them. Just watch that person and rob the treasure. Woon Sowol and Jang Bo, who were walking in front, suddenly turned around in surprise and looked back. Behind the soldiers were now surrounded by a fire. Screams and screams kept ringing out. Why was there suddenly fire on the ground? If there was an attack, everyone quickly became alert. Soon everyone was surrounded by fire. 2 thieves hiding in the bushes then came out and hovered in the air. Do you know who you're standing in front of and dared to shout so loudly? The soldiers were frightened when they saw these 2 people floating in the air. Fairies appeared. Middle-aged people laughed. Haha, no need to be careful, because I intend to kill them. All of you right here. When the crowd heard that, their faces immediately changed. At this moment the woman came out from inside the carriage. Gods, please wait a moment. This young lady is Ju Garyong, the daughter of the district chief of the Ju Garyong district. If you two want treasures, this young lady will give them all to you. As soon as the other 2 saw her, they burst into laughter. Strangely sinister. Oh ho, what a sensible child, his appearance looks good. The woman continued to scream loudly. But the treasures I brought were all used to buy medicine for my father who is in danger. My drama, if possible. I hope you too will cure my father's illness. If so, I will give you many more treasures than that. The 2 of you burst out laughing. Haha, you just like to talk, just a few words that caught my ear. But what should we do? We don't have time to get involved in such troublesome things. I originally intended to kill all of you and take away the treasure, but now I have changed my mind. I will especially spare your life, so from now on, Please be obedient and serve as our concubine. Go haha. When the woman heard these words, she was suddenly stunned. She couldn't believe that the fairies were as shameless as the bandits. The middle-aged man raised his magic weapon and immediately had a group of fire. Flames appear, then except for the treasure and you, I will burn everything. The flames filled the sky and quickly attacked the group of mortals below. They were surrounded by flames and wanted to run. There was no way to run, so he could only stand there helplessly, holding his head in fear and screaming in despair. At this moment, Woon Sowol took out his long sword and rushed forward to cut down the flames. The two middle-aged men above, when he saw that in the air, he immediately gasped in tension. Woon Sowol's face was cold and expressionless. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of the two of them. Middle age was not over yet. Terrified, Woon Sowol's body was slashed with several swords. He didn't have time to scream and immediately cut into several pieces and died unexpectedly. The other guy's heart was so scared that he couldn't describe it. What happened? Why did he just kill someone? Before he could react, his cultivation level was still no more than 10 steps higher than mine, so he had no choice but to do so. Thinking twice, he immediately knelt down and begged, "Senior, please spare my life this time. I will never appear in front of you again." Woon Sowol replied with a gloomy face, "I can't do that. I'm not the type of person who likes to leave behind consequences," after saying that I didn't bother anymore and immediately beheaded the other person. Jang Bo and the others at this moment, everyone behind them was surprised and couldn't believe their eyes. The group quickly returned to the La Family district. As soon as they arrived at the palace, the woman ordered the servants to arrange a banquet to welcome Woon Sowol. Looking at the banquet and singers dancing in front, Woon Sowol couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. "Thank you for such a warm welcome. I'm truly ashamed to be welcomed like that without doing anything." "Hey." The woman smiled, "Woon Sowol hero, don't say that. If it weren't for you, I and everyone else would have lost our lives. Woon Sowol hero is a great benefactor of my family." Woon Sowol took a sip of wine and exhaled. "It was Miss Ju who took care of a foreigner lying unconscious on the street like me. I'm not someone who quickly forgets kindness. I received help from the young lady, so if there's anything you want to ask me for help with, please say it directly." "The lady is so excited, is that true? Then can you help me examine my father's illness?" After a while, Woon Sowol followed the woman to her father's room. She looked at the sick middle-aged man lying on the floor in front of her and sighed, "This is my father. Her breathing was unstable, even when he sleeps, he still feels pain. I called many doctors to check on him, but they don't even know the cause of his illness." Woon Sowol didn't say much and immediately sat down. Went down to check his pulse. Spiritual energy quickly flowed from Woon Sowol's body into all meridians throughout the middle-aged body. After a while, Woon Sowol finally found the cause of the disease. There is potential. Gu parasitizes in the abdomen, even if it is a demon of the lowest level. Why does the hidden Gu parasitize the body of an ordinary person and not a wizard? Teacher Woon Sowol kept thinking for a long time without speaking. The woman worriedly asked, "Master Woon Sowol, is my father's illness not good?" Woon Sowol didn't rush to answer but still pondered. Dealing with the hidden neck is simple, but it seems that this matter has something to do with the magician. Thinking for a moment, he stopped moving. The force surrounding the hidden neck in the middle-aged body. The woman in the back said worriedly, "Woon Sowol sir, if that's not the case then you should rest first." Woon Sowol calmly replied, "I have finished the treatment." The woman's eyes widened. "What did you just say? Have you finished the treatment?" The young master just touched his father's hand. Woon Sowol glanced at her and smiled. "Yes, he will be able to stand up and walk in the next 2 weeks. In the old master's body there is a snake. The parasitic demon is called Lat Company. Over time, his strength has gradually weakened. It's because the Lat Company sucks up all the nutrients his body needs. He will recover faster if he takes nutritious medicine. Eat food that nourishes the body and calms down." The woman was so touched that she couldn't help but shed tears. She immediately knelt down and bowed her head to bow to Woon Sowol. "Woon Sowol sir, you are my grace. My life's work. Woon Sowol advises you that you don't have to do that. If you're a doctor like me, anyone can easily treat Ju-sama." The woman still bowed her head sincerely. "Speaking of the witch doctors, weren't there some evil witch doctors who attacked us on the road?" Young Master Un Sowol saved us from their hands, and even saved us. My father, I don't know how to repay this kindness. Un Sowol looked at her and sighed inwardly. After all, he had already paid off all his debt to Miss Ju, but he didn't give anyone else a chance. Returning the favor is not worthy of being a monk. Staying here for a while longer to collect information and restore your cultivation level is not bad. After thinking for a moment, he said to her, I understand, I will do it. According to Miss Ju's words. The lady happily stood up and smiled. The young man was thinking very clearly. Time passed like that. Un Sowol always stayed at Ju Mansion to restore his cultivation. One day Jang Bo was sweeping the yard outside Un Sowol's room. He sighed while sweeping. When will he go out? He's been staying in his room for almost a year now. Even though he said he wouldn't go out for a long time, this is too much, even for the young lady and master. I keep asking why Mr. Un Sowol hasn't gone out yet. Makes me feel like I've committed some crime. At this moment, Un Sowol's voice rang out from inside again. Jang brother, you were also nagging me while sweeping the yard today. Jang Bo was startled. Little brother Un Sowol finally came out. Outside. Un Sowol quickly came out from inside. Nothing special happened recently. Jang Bo laughed loudly and explained, stop talking. Do you know the old master, and how many times have you looked for me while I locked myself in there? They keep begging me to let you participate in the Lunar New Year. Un Sowol doubtfully asked, is there anything interesting about the Lunar New Year? Now I don't need to practice, so it's okay to participate. Jang Bo explained, the Lunar New Year in Ju family is quite big. If I could see it with my own eyes I would be surprised, more than 5 years later. Today there is a special celebration to celebrate the old master's recovery, so it will surely be much more festive than in previous years. Having just opened a grand congress and also held a banquet, everyone will probably flock to watch. Surely there will definitely be a lot of things worth seeing. Un Sowol nodded with some interest. Jang brother said so, it seems I can't miss it. Soon the sun went down the mountain and night fell. Down, inside the Ju district celebrated the Lunar New Year. They shot off a lot of fireworks. People everywhere gathered in the square to watch the fireworks to celebrate the new year. Un Sowol and the Ju district father and son sat on the stage. Eating cake, drinking tea, watching fireworks. At this moment, he noticed two people in the distance, the guy wearing a black shirt walking behind the fat guy. Looking at the aura he radiated, he was probably the first doctor in heaven. He probably didn't come to see the fireworks, right? Doctor, why did he have to come to this small site? Ju Kong Goen sat on the side and smiled and said, thank you. Thanks to Un Sowol hero, I can once again watch the Lunar New Year festival like this. I am truly very happy. I hope Un Sowol hero will too. But halfway through saying that he suddenly fell silent, because Un Sowol sitting in front of him had not been seen for some time. Just as he was absent-minded and wanted to stand up and look around, at that moment there was someone there. Other people come, it's lucky for me to see you so healthy again. I brought some mountain ginseng to give you Ju to improve your health. The person coming is a middle-aged fat man also with the doctor from earlier that Un Sowol saw below. Ju homeowner saw the fat middle-aged man and immediately greeted him warmly. It's Woon homeowner, so please come in quickly. Thanks to the blessing of Woon homeowner, I'm sick. My condition has improved a lot. Thank you very much for worrying about me. The fat middle-aged man pointed at the young monk next to him. This is truly a blessing. Oh yes, this person is a famous disciple. I always loved Dr. Dean DeBang. I saw that he had outstanding medical skills, so I asked him to check your pulse. How do you feel? Ju Kong Goen smiled and held out his hand, shouting, this is my honor. I have also heard of Dr. Jin Daebang. As soon as the young man took Ju Kong Goen's pulse, his face immediately changed. After a moment, he clasped his hands and said, now sir is so healthy that I don't think he will get sick in the near future. Ju Kong Goen smiled and smiled, that's lucky. The young man said again, if you are healthy then I would like to go enjoy the fireworks. Very quickly the two of them said goodbye to Ju Kong Goen and left. Un Sowol silently hid outside follow them. Outside the street fireworks are still shooting non-stop. People are still gathering to watch fireworks to celebrate Tet very happily. After a while, Ju Kong Goen instructed his daughter, Ju Garyong, I can't work too hard yet, I'll rest first, I'll leave the rest to you. The girl nodded. Yes father, don't worry, I will arrange everything in order, so you go ahead and rest first. The night passed quickly like that. The moon had already reached the top of the head. Ju Kong Goen went into the room to rest and exhaled. Everyone, it was like a dream. Yesterday's events never happened. Suddenly he was startled and glanced outside. Without hesitation, he sat up and grabbed the long sword next to him. Point at the opponent. Who are you? The person who came was the young man from before. He looked at him coldly. Be quiet. Ju Kong Goen. When the old man saw that it was him, he was even more surprised. The young man raised his hand and cast fire. The magic spell threatened, if you plan to do something stupid, then I will kill you and everyone here. Ju Kong Goen saw that he was performing magic and was unable to let go of his sword. What is this doctor looking for me for? The young man retracted his magic and looked at him in surprise. Aren't you surprised to hear that I am a magician? Have you also met any other magicians besides me? Ju Kong Goen nodded. I had the opportunity to meet a healer. The young man smiled. So it was that healer who treated you. It must be true to get rid of money. That guy's strength is really great. He's really lucky, but where is that magician? Ju Kong Goen's face darkened and threatened, telling people in advance that he is still in this family. If you harm me, he will not leave you alone. The young man laughed loudly from the storage bag. I took out the magic weapon. Ha ha. You said that you have a magician protecting you. You think I will make a fuss? I will kill you quietly without leaving any trace. Just in time, in the void next to Ju Kong Goen, there was a sword coming out with a sound. That's not certain. The young man was startled, and before he could react, the magic weapon in his hand was blown away. Next, the long sword was placed on his neck. The one who took action was none other than Woon Sowol, who had been following him. The young man was not afraid but instead smiled. You are the guy. Doctor, Woon Sowol nodded without denying it. That's right. It was I who healed Ju-sama. Ju Kong Goen breathed out. Woon Sowol, you came at the right time. Woon Sowol calmly replied. I hope you'll forgive me. I already suspected this guy, so I set up an ambush in Lord Ju's room. As long as you answer honestly, I won't hurt you. Why do you want to kill Lord Ju? ? The young man quickly explained. My master is Wang Guang's father, also the governor of Namyang Gun District. Even as a mortal, you are still a very outstanding person. Then master, for thinking of worldly fate, I decided to stay and take care of the Wang family, so you ordered me to do some of the family's requests. Woon Sowol nodded. What an interesting story. Please continue telling. The young man has no time to continue telling. Wang Guang wanted to kill Ju Kong Goen to take over the position of district commander of the district. Although he knew this was a petty and despicable thing to do, but there is no way to refuse my master's order, so I must kill Ju Kong Goen. Woon Sowol asked again, if your master is such a great person, then can you honor your name? The young man clenched his fists. Shouldn't you reveal your identity and sect first? Woon Sowol calmly replied, I am Woon Sowol and the master does not exist. The young man suddenly woke up. Oh, so he is a knight. I am Deung Ju Beong of the Iron Sect, and my master is the chief. Old man of the Iron Staff Sect Wang Tae Il. Do you know the reputation of your master and the Iron Staff Sect? Quickly take back the sword I'm talking about around my neck. Woon Sowol replied coldly, if you promise not to harm Ju's life, I will take back the long sword and let you leave. Deung Ju Beong was so angry that he gritted his teeth. You know this is my master's order and you still want to stop me? Just because of a mortal, do you want to confront the Iron Sect leader? Woon Sowol calmly replied, you will have another way to help Wang Guang without having to harm Lord Ju. Deung Ju Beong woke up. I understand, it is not necessary to fight for a mortal. With the sorcerer? Woon Sowol nodded and took back the long sword. As soon as Woon Sowol's long sword left Deung Ju Beong's neck, he took out a talisman and laughed loudly. What a fool. Eat my lightning axe. Thunder. The electricity from the spell went straight towards Woon Sowol, but unexpectedly, Woon Sowol did not let down his guard. As soon as the electricity struck, he took out his sword to block it. Deung Ju Beong saw, then his eyes widened and his mouth was wide open. Woon Sowol hid behind the shield and laughed coldly. Deung brother is truly an unbelievable person. Lost for a moment, Deung Ju Beong moved his hands again. Two types of magic can block my lightning attack. That shield seems to be a quite useful magic weapon. Un Sowol stuck his head out and glanced at him. Young brother, it's a pity you can't turn around now. I got my head back again. Deung Ju Byung roared and attacked Un Sowol. What an arrogant brat. Just like last time, all of his attacks were blocked by the clear shield. Un Sowol urged spiritual energy to call out the Kwyn sword. Next, he urged the profound sword. Very quickly, a sword appeared behind Deung Ju Byung. Then Un Sowol performed was to destroy the evil sword technique. The fourth move was even more clever. Deung Ju Byung was immediately blocked by two long swords. He had no way to grit his teeth and open the bag. Storage on the red side. From inside immediately a giant brown bear came out. Juk Ji Wung, the other guy's attack group, gave me. Un Sowol saw the brown bear suddenly come out then, and I was secretly happy. That bag is a powerful animal bag that can trap monsters. Because I didn't have the materials, I had no way to make it. Now it's good. The brown bear was quickly defeated. The long sword pierced through his chest. Seeing his demon beast lying there dead as soon as he came out, Deung Ju Byung couldn't believe it. He trembled and continued to take out a leaf from his storage bag. But Un Sowol didn't know when he used extremely fast speed to appear behind him. He crossed his arms in front of his chest and looked at him mockingly. Compared to his cultivation level, you lack a lot of real experience there. Deung Ju Byung became angry and turned around to scream loudly, "You bastard, dare to mock me." Un Sowol did not give him a chance to scream much and immediately waved his hand. Deung Ju Byung was immediately killed by him. Dak Ky2. After dealing with everything, Un Sowol asked Ju Konggoen, "Sir Ju, are you okay?" Ju Konggoen nodded. "Yes, it's okay thanks to the hero." Un Sowol bent down to collect the spoils of war and ordered, "Please let a trustworthy servant handle this place, if there is a way. If the soldiers who died here were to spread out, there could be a big disaster." Ju Konggoen nodded, "I understand." Un Sowol reminded to take back the spoils of war, and not to mention Deung Ju Byung. He's a member of the Wang family, so it shouldn't be a problem to come up with some excuse. Ju Konggoen nodded, "I'll do whatever the boss says." Un Sowol turned and left. "Before leaving, don't forget to turn around and tell me one more thing. Please send my regards to Miss Ju. I have to make a trip here. Hello, sir." The next day at the mountain Wen Shu, Choksan district. At the new market established by the healers, Un Sowol sat in a tea shop and exclaimed, "A market with so many healers like this. Thinking about it, I still find it miraculous." At this moment, two people, a man and a woman, came over. "It must have been a year before we saw him again. I wonder if you still remember my name? I am Cowi, and this is my sister Cogi Son." The girl also spoke up. "I am Cogi Son from the Seo family in Choksan." Un Sowol exclaimed excitedly, "Ah, so it is everyone." Switch back to a year ago at the new market in Wen Shu Mountain. Un Sowol while Zhang Bo and the others secretly left when negotiating to buy medicine. Those healers don't need mortal things, so Miss Chu probably won't be able to exchange anything. But I need information and ingredients to strengthen the Kwyn sword that I created after the masters passed away. I guess I have to sell some magic items you don't need to exchange for as many spirit stones as possible. I have to neutralize my body magic so I don't look like a mortal. Un Sowol will also produce a few magic items after that. Weapons collected from battles in magical beasts were sold. Soon his stall was crowded with magicians. "Look, isn't this a low-level magic weapon, in the form of a seller? This guy is so young, yet he has achieved such great achievements. Brother Cowi just passed by at this time. I want to buy both of these magic tools. I can take a look at them. Yes, I will pay a very generous price." Switching back to the present, Un Sowol immediately realized that they were the two people who had previously bought his magical tools. Of course he remembered, it was great to see the two of them again. Un Sowol sat down opposite him. Chan said, "I was the same, at that time I was able to find a good magic weapon, so I was very satisfied with that transaction. At that time, I heard that you were a wanderer. Maybe this time you came here to sell magic." "Gas?" Un Sowol nodded. "Yes, I'm thinking of buying and selling a few things." Cogi Son, who was next to him, heard that and excitedly exclaimed, Then can you let us see the goods first? Woon Sowol smiled. Haha, she said what I wanted to say. Woon Sowol smiled, taking advantage of the opportunity to trade with each other last time. I would like to ask you two to take a look at this dish. He quickly took out the magic weapon. Taken from Deung-ju Byung's body, this jade pepper is called Fire Ming pepper. Cowi raised her hand and wanted to pick up the Fire Ming pepper to see. Oh, it seems like it is a magic weapon containing quite a bit. Quite powerful, isn't it? But before he could even touch it, the pepper tree disappeared and was nowhere to be seen. Seeing Cogi quickly grab it first, he felt a bit angry and coldly snorted, seeing that the magic weapon was good. I wanted to see it first. Cogi excitedly stared at the pepper tree. Did you know where to blow to see what the pepper was for? After a moment, she turned to Woon Sowol and asked, can I summon a monster to test it? It has been tamed, so unless we are attacked, it will not harm anyone if we do not order it to attack. Woon Sowol smiled and nodded. Cogi excitedly opened the bag of spirit beasts. In front of the crowd, a black panther immediately appeared. Woon Sowol looked at the black panther in front of him thoughtfully. This kid is an intermediate blood spirit black panther. Cogi quickly brought the flute to his mouth and began to play. The sound quickly echoed throughout the room. The black panther heard the sound of the flute and slowly approached the table. Then he put his head on the table. Close your eyes and listen to the old times, very intoxicating. Woon Sowol looked at the black panther's expression and secretly analyzed in his heart. The lotus flower is a magic weapon capable of taming demonic beasts, combined with Miss Seo's flute-playing skills. Then it will work very well, right? After a while, Cogi took back the black newspaper and asked, young master Woon Sowol, are you sure you will sell this pepper tree? I want to buy 5 intermediate-grade spirit stones right away. Seeing that Woon Sowol didn't react, Cowi immediately spoke up. How about 7 pills, this is a very good price. Woon Sowol nodded. Okay then 7 pills. Woon Sowol then asked again. I just came to this country Jeonnyeong not long ago, so I'm still unclear about the situation. Can you two tell me what sects there are here? Cowi woke up. So that's it, let me tell you. Yangzhou, located in Jeonnyeong, has 3 evil sects and 3 large-scale political sects. In order to stabilize the country's political situation, the political sects includes the Immortal Sect, Mount Ju Sect and Awakened Sect, while the evil sect has the Dauntless Association, Mendacity Sect, and Iron Protector Sect. Woon Sowol nodded. I have heard of the sect leader before. The leader, the old man named Wang Tae-il, there took a lot of time to climb to his current position. Cowi nodded. You know quite a lot, with the body of a mortal being able to climb to this point. He's not an ordinary person. During a political war a long time ago, he killed a weak warrior and stole his capsule, using the resources in it. Improving his strength, he is truly a member of the evil sect. Woon Sowol nodded. So it was like that. In his heart he secretly thought, would the Ju family be in trouble if he knew Deung-ju Byung is he dead? I have to quickly increase my strength to deal with it. Cowi scratched his neck. If you join the Iron Staff, we will be very afraid of each other, because Chok our San Seo family is a righteous sect. Woon Sowol smiled. I'm just finding out what sects there are, so don't worry. I'm a wanderer with no place to belong, so I probably won't stand towards any political faction. Cowi smiled. It's good to say that directly. Cogi suddenly spoke up. Woon Sowol, I actually have a request. Woon Sowol looked at her suspiciously. Please keep talking. The 2 brothers and sisters looked at each other and exchanged opinions. After a while Cogi explained. We are trying to catch a demon beast. Can you give us a hand? The next day, Woon Sowol followed Cogi and his brother into the mountain. Cogi went ahead to explain. In front there was a high-level monster named Fragrance Feline living. But it is very difficult to catch, but it has a very sharp sense of smell, so if it can be tamed, it will be very helpful in finding spiritual herbs. Woon Sowol sighed in his heart. This is the first time I've heard of this monster, and the 4 masters only live in Yeonnam, so it's normal that I don't know. Thoughts after a moment, he then asked Cogi, so what should we do? Cogi replied, actually we already planned to capture it in advance. If the fragrant feline is planning to attack us, then please help us distract its attention. After walking for a while, Wei jumped down from the magic weapon and jumped down to the ground. We've arrived and are ready to catch it. Wei reminded us that because fragrance feline likes to climb high and play, there's a high possibility that it will hide on top of a tree. Having finished speaking, he waved his hand and threw out several array flags. Different array flags were placed on 4 sides around the ground. Next, he glanced at Cogi Son, the formation. I'm ready, do you have that thing with you? Cogi Son smiled, thinking I was as absent-minded as you. She quickly took out a peach from her storage bag. She chose the highest quality orchid fruit to bring here and there. She quickly put the peach in front. The scent of feline still hasn't appeared. Woon Sowol exclaimed a little worriedly. Could it be that it smelled our scent so it didn't dare come closer? Cogi Son shook his head. Just because of the 3 talented healers, he didn't dare to come close. Why would it be like that? Suddenly Woon Sowol shouted with a serious face, it's coming. As soon as he finished speaking, in front of them in the opposite forest, there was immediately a flash of light. A figure mixed within the light. He used extremely fast speed to rush towards the place where the fairy was dug. Cogi Son saw that and immediately took out a talisman. The talisman flew straight up in the air above the 3 people's heads. Golden light from above quickly shone down on the formation flag on the ground. The formation was activated. A net formed from spiritual energy immediately covered a range of dozens of meters around. Feline's fragrance spread out. As it rushed forward, it immediately encountered a net. It was trapped by the net and immediately appeared in its original form as a white cat. Being surrounded, it immediately raised its head to look at the talisman tree on top of its head. 2 brothers and sisters seeing this, Cogi Son immediately took out the magic weapon and shouted, quickly controlling it. The angry cat demon stared at them with fierce eyes. Then he opened his mouth and screamed loudly. Cogi Son threw out a bunch of spells and shouted, running away from the sun.